This to me is bittersweet. So the Venom solo movie will be coming at us this October, and already people seem incredibly skeptical about this movie. Whether it's not going to have Spider-Man in it at all, or whether the teaser trailer looked bland, I'm not here to discuss that, but what I'm here to discuss is of course the potential of a Venom sequel. Or more specifically, where Cletus Cassidy Carnage fits into the entire Venom franchise. As to which many people were convinced that Carnage will be the main villain. And based on all of the reports, it seems quite unlikely at this point that Carnage will be seen in full glory. And that he will only be set up at the end of the Venom movie so that he could be the main villain for the sequel. So the apparent ending for Venom, or at the very least a post-credit scene for the Venom movie, will consist of Eddie Brock going into prison and he's sharing the same cell with Cletus Cassidy. And some of Eddie's symbiote that remains on him at the end of the Venom movie will spread itself so that a bit of the symbiote will attach itself into Cletus Cassidy, thus leading up to the birth of Carnage. And as you can see, the ending is very faithful to Carnage's origin story. Now a bit of me is a little disappointed in that we're not going to see Carnage in the film at all, mainly because I am such a huge Carnage fan. However, in the long run, this is an incredibly smart move on Sony's part because Carnage is Venom's #1 villain. And you can't just simply use Carnage as a one and done villain and have him killed off by the end of the Venom movie. And I know that's a little bit debatable on whether or not Venom will have a sequel after this film, but given how Venom sells so well and the fact that Sony doesn't really have much left anyway, they kinda have to make a sequel regardless. And the only way that Venom won't have a sequel is if the film itself is as terrible as Fantastic, which, let's be honest, you would really have to try so hard to be as terrible as Fantastic. But the way I see it, Carnage is such an iconic and powerful villain from Venom's Rogues Gallery that it would be such a huge misstep in just shoehorning him into the Lethal Protector storyline, despite the fact that he had no part in the original storyline to begin with. And plus, Carnage has always been established as a villain who would rather work alone because he is such a wild card within himself. And putting Carnage in for the first Venom movie is almost as bad as putting the Anti-Monitor for the first Justice League film. But at the end of the day, a bit of me is a little sad that we're not going to see Carnage, but in the long run it will pay off. Because Carnage deserves so much more than being just a side villain. And Carnage is worthy enough of being the main villain for a sequel. And the way I see it, Carnage is supposed to outshine Venom in pretty much every aspect. And to me, introducing both Venom and Carnage in one film just won't work. Because in the end, it won't do both characters justice. So how do you feel about Carnage being saved for a Venom sequel? Are you disappointed that we're not going to see him in the first film, or are you glad that we're going to see him done right in the sequel? Comment below and share some thoughts. And as always, thank you guys for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. Take care and have a good one.